Another one.
QA startup woes. Oh, goodness gracious. It's already starting off depressing. All right. So I joined the startup as a senior software development engineer and test over a month ago. And now I want to leave for various reasons. And I want to know what to say on new job applications. Over a month ago, and after months of searching in this unstable market, I finally landed a job in a new startup that looked challenging from the onset but had a promising outlook. But as I kept working, the more the issues crept in and the more I became unmotivated. I'm sorry. I am sorry. To list but a few, the biggest problem that arose quickly with time was the sheer amount of responsibilities that were dumped on me for a significantly lower amount of salary that I was offered. Now, you may rightfully say that you should have seen that coming when you accepted the role, but that takes me to the next point, which is the frantically micromanaging CEO. While not an awful person by any means, that's sweet of you to say, he just can't help himself not to scope creeping every other day with something new that has to be done soon and disrupting the workflow. On top of that, he seems to have trust issues with the engineers, who are all great in all fairness, and seems to be constantly over their shoulders asking when is this thing or that, a little bit of this and a little bit of that thing coming out, and never staying in his own lane and letting the big kids do their job. So you can imagine how things are a bit wild, wild west here. And as much as I'm trying to champion best practices and proper agile etiquette, it doesn't help when it all goes deaf to CEO ears. So I decided that life is too short to put up with this bull and look for greener pastures and all of that. Now, my question is, when new recruiters ask me, what is the reason you want to leave? What would be the best answer to give in a situation like this? Should I be honest and tell them my cries for the best practices and improvement fall on deaf ears by the CEO, who's also acting as middle management, or come up with some white lie? So here's my first question, right? Why does the white lie need to be the little lie? What would be the big lie? What? I'm just kidding. All right. So let's start the timer on this one. So I do agree with everybody else. You knew what you were going into. Going to a small startup where you are the senior software development engineer and test. What do you expect, right? But what do you do to get out? So here's the bright side. Maybe it's not so bright side, but here's the bright side, right? You are probably going to be there for a while anyways, because not many other places are like the job market is slow right now, as everybody has rightfully acknowledged. The job market is slow. So you might end up being there for another 6 months, 8 months. And guess what? Recruiters don't give two flying about why you're leaving. If they really want you, then they'll take you. Like now, if they see that you've been at this job for a month though, and now you want to leave because here's the thing. If you want to leave because you've been there for a month, the problem that's going to be is, what if you don't like it there? Like, you could be great, but if you don't like it there, then what if you screw them the same way you're screwing this company? Because you only been there for a month and you want to leave, knowing what you're getting into. You're desperate for a job, and this is the cost of hiring that I was talking about yesterday. This exactly is the cost of hiring, because the company had to spend money to hire you, and I'm pretty sure they told you what to expect. It's a startup. There's so many different hats that you're gonna have to wear there. Probably have to create some QA infrastructure, some CI/CD pipelines, working with the developers to get things underway, writing some automated tests, dealing with the CEO. What I say in this is, don't threaten me with a good time. See, like I love the struggle and the headache and the torture. Like I live for this. I live for this. Maybe I'm a masochist, right? But but the problem is that now when you go to leave, like you just cost this company probably over $10,000 to hire you. And now you want to leave them after a month. So now you want to go to another company. So it's going to be tough. But in your favor, you'll probably be there for a while because it takes some time to get a job. But even after 6 months, you're ready to leave. You're like, Now, some recruiters, they'll overlook it because if it's a recruiter who is not working for the actual company that's hiring and they're going to place you in another company, they're going to get their commission regardless. So they'll probably put you somewhere else and place you and stuff like that. And that question about why you're leaving might not even come up. But if you're working with a recruiter for an actual company, then you might have some trouble. And I don't know how you become unmotivated at a new company after a month. The sheer amount of what did you expect? And if you knew what the amount of responsibilities were going to be, why didn't you negotiate your salary better? That's one of my questions. And here's another problem that I have with like this type of mentality is when you're running away to thinking that there's going to be greener. There are no greener pastures. And you know how they say the grass is greener on the other side? Well, the water bill is also more expensive. See, for me, I would rather have a heart to heart with the CEO to say, "Hey, you need to back off. Like, if you want to know what's going on, come to the stand up, come to the sprint review. But this is the way that we work. This is our working agreement, and set the policies in place, set the practices in place. But maybe the CEO is micromanaging because you don't have any practices in place yet, and they're trying to grow the company, like because especially with a startup, you can go belly down at any given moment. Because you're a lot of times they're relying on funding, on different rounds of funding, looking for different investors. So it is very worrisome. People are always thinking about like the CEO is supposed to be getting paid so much, but imagine a CEO of a startup who might not have who doesn't know next year if the company's still going to be around. So they're like, okay, let's get it going, let's get it going. And the thing is, when you are a part of that startup, if you're interested in that type of lifestyle, then you can play a monumental role in the company. You can play a monumental role in the company. So that's why it's like you're running away, but you don't know what you're running to. Because a lot of companies, they'll make it sound nice, but then once you actually get there, that might not actually be the case. So should you tell a white lie? What's going to be that white lie? What's going to be that white lie? And if you're going to be complaining about your CEO, then no one wants to hear that anyways. No one wants to hear someone complaining. I am allergic to complaining. I say, you know what? We are going to run it up.
If you enjoyed the fascinating information shared in this video and you want more, be sure to hit the subscribe button to Tech Coach Ralph to be notified for new videos.